Hey guys, welcome back to more CALLOUS Invitational 3 Round 2 action. This is an elimination match between two very highly regarded players. SoulWind, who has been in the finals of every major tournament about 10 times. He is the end boss of Pokemon. In order to win the tournament, you've got to go through him. One of the most well-respected, well-rounded, most accomplished players in all of Pokemon. He took a round 1 loss to Lycomedes. He was pretty frustrated after that, didn't even know if he wanted to continue to play in this tour, but he came back. He said he's going to finish out the tour, whatever that means, and here he is, trying to fight on a little bit longer. Fakes, his opponent, he took a loss to ZF, who is just a really good, really accomplished ADV player in his own right. But Fakes is one of the most respected pilots among the elite ADV players. All the guys who've been around for a long time know and respect Fakes. He's a bit of a clown with his antics, but when it comes to the game, the guy can just really play, and he's one of those dangerous opponents that nobody wants to play against. So here is the set. One of them will be eliminated from this tournament, and it's game 1 right now in their best of 3. SoulWind bottom side with Meta, Fakes on the top. Meta on meta action here, both potentially threatening to the other one if one of them, for example, were a Choice Bander with Earthquake. An Earthquake is the move that SoulWind opts for. Heavy damage, 81% after a Protect is shown, and it's a much weaker Earthquake for Fakes, but he does have those lefties, unlike SoulWind. Here comes Coon. And it's going to be a failed Protect for Fakes. I think it should have been fairly clear that there was going to be a switch there, but he saw it differently. And we now have Coon on Starmie. Surf is going to do very little, and we'll see what Starmie wants to do. There is no sand in play right now, so all Pokemon, including the Coon, are very bulky. Blissey as well, very bulky. Thunder Wave, whatever on her. She doesn't care about her speed anyway in almost every matchup, and she does, of course, have Natural Cure. Surf and Toxic, respectively. Neither one overly threatened by that since they're both Natural Cure pokes, but it does at least put a clock on the Starmie and force it out sometime soon. Soon ends up being now, and here is a Lax. S-Toss on that. Lax, again, with no sand in play, is going to be tremendously bulky in this matchup. Magneton coming now, maybe trying to catch the meta. And he is successful in that. Great switch by Fakes, getting out ahead of SoulWind here. And he's going to trap and kill the Metagross to get himself a free kill and a nice little early advantage. Great play by Fakes, anticipating that that switch would happen. We now have Starmie on Mence. Earthquake 69%. Is that also a Choice Bander? I'm not sure. We end up with Mence on Mence. Intimidate certainly relevant, but not if he's stuck on Earthquake. But SoulWind actually ends up switching. We end up with Bliss on Salamence. Blissey often carries Ice Beam. That's certainly a threat. We know it is Toxic as well. Jirachi comes in here, staring down Lax. So Jirachi and Meta on the same team is a little bit awkward, but there doesn't seem to be a Dougie on the other side to punish that. Calm Mind from Rachi here. Starmie staring it down. Gets a T-Wave off, a little bit annoying. Rachi does care about its speed, especially on a Calm Mind set, and also Full Power can kick in at a bad time, as it did right there. Critical hit Surf for Fakes certainly helps his cause. However, through the Para and the imperfect accuracy, there will be a Thunder knockout. And it's not a Magneton follow-up, however. It's just Salamence. SoulWind can switch out of this if he pleases. Earthquake is the obvious attack. See if Fakes goes for that. And he does, and he's going to meet the other Mence and be intimidated in the process. He'll get out of the way. Here's Meta trying to come in on Rock Slide. That is not correct. SoulWind outpredicts him, gets him with an EQ, and Fakes, who had the advantage in the early going, is now behind 5-4. His last poke is revealed. That's a Heracross. SoulWind's last poke is Claydol, which is going to instantly die to a one-hit KO Megahorn, so we very quickly have ourselves a 4-4. And here is Salamence for the Intimidate and the threat of the 4x weak HP flying. Instead, he goes Earthquake, I guess trying to hit Magneton, but he is unsuccessful in that endeavor. That brings the tempo back over to Fakes. Neither player has Cheetar, so there will be no sand in this game. All the bulky pokes will stay bulky. Jirachi gets out of the way, not wanting to be trapped and killed by the Magneton. When it has Thunder on a Calm Mind set, its last moves are probably Psychic and Wish, so it does not have anything meaningful, presumably, to threaten the Magneton with. And there is an Ice Beam from Bliss targeting Lax. Takes it really well, 9%. That might actually be thick fat as opposed to immunity. Here comes Body Slam, 26%. Doesn't find para. SoulWind's Mence is not gaining lefties as we suspected. Mence on Mence now. Intimidate, but it's still going to hurt here. Hidden Power, 49%. That's a nice chunk of damage. Fakes pulls it back at this point to the Magneton. He's going to trap the Jirachi. That works out just as well, and that's going to net Fakes a free kill. Thunderbolt on the slower because of paralysis Jirachi is going to be good enough. There's the knockout, and that leaves us in a 4-3. SoulWind with the follow-up Salamence once again. He meets the opposing Mence once again, and he's wrong once again. He goes Earthquake, only to be blanked by the flying, intimidating Salamence on the other side. Hidden Power, 55%. Blissey does not take that well and cannot live another, it looks like. As such, SoulWind switches. He goes to his own Mence, gets Intimidate off. Still doesn't take it well. 51%. Potential speed tie situation here. Hard to tell with no sand, no lefties, but Fakes has the faster Mence and gets the KO. That might have been a tie, or it might have just been faster. I don't know. SoulWind here with the Calm Mind on Coon. SoulWind has now fallen behind 4-2. He goes Substitute here, trying to catch a boom. Good read for SoulWind. He does get the boom on the Substitute, which is exactly what he was looking for there. SoulWind now back in it potentially, but the Heracross is very dangerous. There's Thunderbolt from Mag. +1 Surf, not going to KO, not even close in fact. And now Magneton is an issue. Obvious Blissey switch comes in. Does Fakes respond with Heracross? No, he goes straight Thunderbolt. It will be an obvious soft-boiled opportunity, but this is also an obvious Hera switch. Instead, it is a Thunder Wave. And the soft boil does get off regardless. Magneton does not have lefties. He must have Magnet. He goes Swagger here to confuse the Bliss and paralyze it, so she's unlikely to get her attacks off. And indeed, she attacks herself in her confusion for pathetic damage, despite the attack boost from Swagger. Thunderbolt, and Blissey again attacks herself, but she's in no real danger here at all. Still very healthy. Another Thunderbolt comes down. Confusion ends. And Soft Boiled gets off. Bliss back up to 100%. Fakes again pushes the issue with Thunderbolt. 20%. S-Toss finally comes down. That's the end of the Magneton. But what do you do about Heracross? And indeed, here it comes. I don't know what SoulWind could do about this Pokemon from this position. There's a huge Brick Break. 62%. S-Toss comes back, possibly trying to break a sub or stop a Focus Punch, but Fakes instead is just going Brick Break, and SoulWind looks hard-pressed to stop it. There's a Swords Dance, there's a full para, that has got to be the ball game. 2 Brick Breaks should simply end this here. There's one, and the Coon, who I believe is pretty low and is certainly slower than a Heracross, is not going to survive a +2 Brick Break. On the back of Heracross and some nice predictions earlier on, Game 1 is going to go the way of Fakes. Decent game, relatively close in the end, only a 2-0, but nevertheless, Fakes is the winner here. Thumbs up if you enjoyed this game, and you know that Game 2 is coming up next.